is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to do a little bit more about this UFO alien thing, not because I find it fun, but because it could be something that maybe people don't know about and can learn from. And I should have shared it in the last video. It didn't pop into my head till after I was done. But talking about aliens, right? Because people are saying, well, Carl, you're wrong about this. You're wrong. That's fine. But I'll show you how I know I'm right. And I have no problem being proven wrong, but I'll show you how I know I'm right, okay? The depiction of an alien, right? Remember, we've never seen an alien, right? Because they don't exist, right? But we all have this depiction of what an alien is supposed to look like. Is that coincidence? They've already told us ahead of time. Now, I get it. There's different variations of aliens in different movies, right? You have The Thing in Independence Day. You have The Thing in the movie Alien. But let's all just agree to agree here, because the basic look of an alien is what is known as a gray, right? This thing. When you think of an alien, this is what you think of. If I showed you this, that's what you'd say. You'd say, oh, you drew a picture of an alien, right? Some of these other aliens in different movies, you might say, oh, yeah, it's an alien because you've seen the movie. But you might say, well, that doesn't look like an alien. It looks like a monster. This would be the depiction that we're all told and taught is an alien. Remember, we've never seen an alien because they've never been here, supposedly, according to them. Demons have been. Remember, I'm not saying demons aren't real. Let me show you the connection here, okay? Do you remember the man, Aleister Crowley, the man that calls himself the Beast? So he's not much of a man, that's for sure. The sorry sap, Aleister Crowley.
At Ping, our culture of curiosity has been driving innovations for over 60 years. Innovations like the new G425 iron, which brings you greater distance without sacrificing the forgiveness and control to play your best.
Wholehearted is packed with high-quality ingredients to give me energy. Without it, I would have never found this.
Petco, the health and wellness company.
Who they all follow. Yoga's trending. All these things that Crowley taught about opening third eyes, about becoming demonically possessed, are all things that are trending in society because they're opening people up to demonic possession. That is true whether people want to think it's crazy or not. And if they think I sound like a crazy person, then they need to think again, because there's nothing crazy here. Aleister Crowley drew in his book, okay? And you can see it here. Yes, you can see it here with this doofus holding the book proudly. And I call him that because he's teaching magic, so he's allowed to be called the name. 777 and other Kabbalistic writings of Crowley. Yeah, there's that word, the Kabbalah? Who follows that? Who follows the teachings of the Kabbalah? Let me get my notepad out here. Who follows the Oh, yes, now I remember the people who control. Never mind. I'll talk about that in a moment. So you know who. Well, interesting that Crowley's book is about writings of the Kabbalah, right? And the same people go in the media, excuse me, giving you the impression of what an alien looks like. Inside his book, as you can see a picture right there. Would that not be what you would think of as an alien? Right? Got the whole thing going, the big forehead like a drive-in movie theater, right? Look at this thing. You know what I mean? Well, guess what? That's not what Crowley's writing about. He's not saying there's a floating UFO out there. He's talking about a specific demon. That's right, a demon. Who's that demon, you ask? Well, the demon goes by the name Lam. This was in 1918. This was written in 1918, before aliens ever hit the big screen. Why do aliens that we know or told aliens look like in all depictions of fiction? The picture of Lamb. You can't tell me it's not. It's got the same exact look. Look at this little creep bag, right? Now, what is Lam, you ask? Well, Lam is one of these things that they worship. These demons and deities that they worship. But you might look at Lam and say, that looks a lot like a gray. Well, in his book, the teachings say that the Lam thing here, this creep bag, I mean, could you imagine worshiping this thing? You want to summon this thing to get inside you? I'm good. The only thing I'd summon it to be is a frisbee. Chuck that thing as far as I could. It says the way, right? And I don't have my glasses, couldn't be smaller, by the way. The specific title of the gods of Egypt, you could read there, and it's known as the way or the path, right? And what does Crowley teach and magic teach about? Oh, the right and the left-hand path, and one's good, one's bad. They're all bad, and they're all embarrassing. Let's be realistic once again. This is the depiction that we know aliens as. This is because they are preparing people to do what with aliens? What is the common thing that we see in today's world? Accept, accept, accept. People like Colony to be shut down because they don't accept. Meanwhile, I don't wish any violence, and I don't even say that people of a certain sexual orientation, that their sin is worse than anyone else's. I don't say that. I say to stop shoving it down our throats. I say to stop convincing people that they are when they're not, or just pushing that onto people because it causes people to do it and try it. That's why. Don't care what you're doing. That's your sin to bear. That's your problem. I'm not saying it's worse than any other, although we see from how God felt in Sodom and Gomorrah, he wasn't too thrilled about it. Not at all. Point being, they talk about acceptance and love and accepting everyone for what they are. Now, what are movies like Independence Day talk about? Oh, they're standing on the top of the building accepting the alien. When the aliens come, we're going to accept them. We're going to be and unite together. Well, do you think that has something to do with accepting? How else would they get people to accept a demon? Think about that without creating this whole psyop. You think suddenly people would see a demon and they already thought all this out, and they'd say, "Oh my gosh!" But they'd be scared, and that might push them to believe that God is real and to cry to God to save them, thus converting, and screaming out that Christ is King and finding salvation, converting them to Christians, which is what they don't want to do. So what do? How would they ever be able to bring demons over? How would they ever be able to do this stuff in the open? Well, they continued to create a psyop. When was the psyop started? Well, it started when books were, not when books were beginning, but in the early 1900s, because remember, 1918, let's connect the dots. 1918, he draws this in his book, okay? 1950s, just use an example. The first gray appears in the Outer Limits, or excuse me, this is the early 60s, the Outer Limits, the first gray appears. Looks like a gray to me. You might say, that's not a real one. Well, all right, nerd. You can go through the list all you want. Look at all these movies that come out suddenly in the 50s about these things called aliens. And this talk of space, which began with the beginning of motion pictures that had volume and sound. And we still hear about it. Do you think by now people will go, I've heard enough about this alien stuff, boring, what's next, come up with a new idea? Because I've come up with plenty. You can have the walking, talking turd, superhero movie. I mean, whatever. You can think of anything, for crying out loud. It's just alien, because it's an indoctrination. That's what it is. That's how they came up with the look of the alien is from Crowley. Because this is the demon, what the demon looks like. This is why they want you to accept the demon. That's why they want you to accept the alien. Hello, is my mic on? And I'm not yelling at you, the audience. I'm just on a little bit of a roll here. Let me continue. You can see the scrolling. I'm just scrolling up and down. All these movies, you see them all. War of the Worlds, The Day the Earth Stood Still, Forbidden Planet, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, It Came from Outer Space, The Thing from Another World, The Invaders from Mars, Terror from Beyond Space, The Man from Planet X, should I keep going? Invasion of the Saucer Man, The Angry Red Planet, let's see here, Plan 9 from Outer Space, and you've probably heard of these, and you don't even see these movies because they remake them 800 times. Wonder why they remake them. Make sure the next generation gets indoctrinated? Yes. Devil Girl from Mars, that's a lovely title. I Married a Monster from Outer Space, The 27th Day. Warning from Space, Teenagers from Outer Space. And if it's not scrolling on the screen, it's because I got sick of recording and scrolling. Invisible Invaders, these are movies. Invasion of Flesh and Blood, what?
Sometimes when genius arrives on your doorstep, it has to be acknowledged. Warren F. Disbro, we salute you and your amazing movies. Caregiver, DVD Talk. Warren F. Disbro knows what his audience wants and delivers it. Flesh and Blood magazine, UK. The perfect blend of monsters, chicks, and cyborgs. A real treat. Pleasure in Cinema magazine.
Oh man, that looks like an absolute classic. Sign me up immediately. I'm watching that tonight. Folks, what you have here is a government psychological operation. All of these things revolve, unfortunately, around Crowley's teachings. Now, you may even want to tie in politicians and Barbara Bush with Crowley. Well, look pretty similar to me. Not hard to figure out who's who and where these bloodlines connect. But long story short, all you have to do is just ask yourself where they came up with the interpretation of a gray or an alien. Where did they come up with this? Some guy was just like, all right. They go, you're going to be the guy who draws a picture of an alien. And once you do it, that's it. That's the one we're going to go with. And then we'll have a few movies maybe with a little something different. They all have the big forehead. I mean, that's the common thing. I guess these demons have massive foreheads. I say great. You know, bigger bullseye to kick. You know what I mean? Can't wait. Right? I mean, I'd be embarrassed. I don't know if it's a massive forehead. They got receding hairlines, but these demons, man. They're showing up with foreheads like that. I mean, you could miss an uppercut by 2 feet and still knock these things 20 feet in the air. It's going to be fun. But they didn't just go, this is what it looks like. And then everybody just copied. They've indoctrinated people to think that this is what an alien looks like for a reason. So 1, they're not scared when all this goes down. 2, to not believe it's an actual demon. Because that's what they would probably think before this whole alien thing was created. They would think it was a demon. People would suddenly go, the Bible's real. They don't want that. They want you to accept the demon. And how do they make you accept the demon? Through a psychological operation. Whew. This house is clear. What more can I say? Folks, that's it right there. You see the alien, you see the gray. I wanted to do a video to show you. This has been happening in an indoctrination for a long time. These people aren't original creators who make these movies. You're not, they're not, oh my gosh, Steven Spielberg. Boy, he's a real artist. Yeah, he's an artist. Actually, he's a sucker. I'll tell you what he is, but I'll tell you on the website exclusively, because I can't say it here, but it's not something you'd be proud to be, but it's something that Aleister Crowley teaches, and they all follow him, and that's what they're doing. Might as well call it a Crowley World Order. Unbelievable. Again, check out the website at callforunuprising.com. It's $2.99 a month. Talk freely over there, share your information, interact with each other. Well worth it. I will remain here on YouTube for the people who are here and can't afford to do the website. And again, if you're somebody who just doesn't want to join the website, consider becoming a Patreon if you could. It helps not worry about demonetization. It helps worry not, it just helps me focus on the work. If you think the work is worthwhile, or the videos itself at least do something for you, whether it's make you laugh with all this stuff, because there's people who are deep down the rabbit hole, just like I am very deep down the rabbit hole. But sometimes it's impossible to laugh. But gotta laugh at some of this stuff because it's so surreal how these people are buying into it. You know, their playbook is on the field. You could read their playbook. They show you it. It's part of universal law. They show you their playbook. They show you beforehand. They show you while it's happening. And still, these zombies don't see it. And they're so prideful about it. It's scary. It's scary. And as scary as it is, the aliens don't look so scary, but they look pretty embarrassing, if you ask me. I mean, pretty embarrassing. So again, like I was saying about the YouTube here, you consider becoming a Patreon if you're not. I went off track. Teespring store, there's other stuff to come there on the Teespring store that helps go a long way. Watching the videos and watching the ads helps, and thumbsing up the videos, of course, and your nice comments help as well. aliens, folks. I mean, look at this demon. Look at this guy. He's coming around here. He's pretending that he's an alien. I mean, admit what you are. That's like me pretending that I'm a shark. Oh wait, we do that in today's society. We have people who pretend they're what they aren't, right? I identify as. I guess the demon identifies as an alien, but when I see it, it's going to identify as a string bean snapped in half. Because that's what I plan on doing if I ever see one of these things walking around. You never know, they might be. And I know people, I know they're here already, demonic possession's real. But if this thing knocks on my door, is my point. Forget about it. Anyway, I thank you guys for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.